Hawai'i Pacific University at the iconic Aloha Tower Marketplace to find out more about the MBA program that was redesigned to fit the modern world.
HPU's redesigned MBA is accelerated, completed 1 year as a full-time student. Skills-based learning education offering flexible course options in 8-week terms. You can learn in person or online. The new MBA Accelerated program ushers in a new era of comprehensive, skills-based business education. MBA candidates earn 2 professional specializations through HPU's partnership with Coursera Career Academy within their MBA program. Students currently have the opportunity to explore 30 different career pathways through our partnership with Coursera Career Academy. Some of these career pathways range from project manager, social media marketer. So the specializations, they're able to select from over 40 of the different specializations that Coursera offers. Some of those companies include Google, Amazon, IBM, and Salesforce. The MBA plus a graduate certificate allows students to select from a specific area of focus, such as business analytics, nonprofit management, public service management, global leadership and sustainable development, ethics and public service, public budgeting, financial management, criminal justice, sustainability, security studies, and more.
One of the things that I found really valuable about HPU's MBA program was the skills-based learning and small class sizes. It really made for a really personal learning experience, and the skills-based learning meant that I could take things that I learned in class and put it to work in my job from day one. As a marketing professional, I decided to pursue an MBA because I recognized that I had developed a lot of on-the-job experience about marketing, but I really wanted a more well-rounded, holistic understanding of business concepts. And HPU's MBA program helped me achieve just that. So even when you graduate, you can continue to pursue your learning through Coursera Career Academy and pursue additional micro-credentials. The learning modules on Coursera are really robust and really valuable, and truly a unique offering as part of HPU's MBA program. It's designed for working professionals, so it's really manageable for you to take classes and do your day job at the same time. A lot of people go to MBA school knowing that they want to join a network of alumni, and we certainly offer that here at HPU as a graduate of HPU's MBA program. You're joining a network of more than 45,000 alumni. I now have the privilege of working on HPU's marketing team, supporting my alma mater, and making this great educational experience available to others, which is a great and very rewarding thing to be able to have. To learn more about HPU's MBA program, just go to hpu.edu/MBA.